Are we on?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today I'm gonna freestyle a very important idea to you guys, which is how to get your first deal as a real estate investor in 19 days or less. If you have no money, or if you don't want to use your own money, if you have no credit, or you have bad credit, or you don't want to use your credit, and if you have no experience, or you have medium experience, but for example you're a realtor, you've never done a deal before, this is exactly the same idea that I charge thousands for, that I teach my students, and that's what they're able to do multiple deals in 30 days or less. Okay, so let me put this down and get started and pull the curtains back. When I first started in the crash of 2007 fourth quarter, I knew getting a real estate was the best time to get into because everybody was going this way. I knew I had to go this way. So I did exactly what you guys did. I went to the REI clubs, I bought the books, bought the seminars, paid a lot of money, roughly about 30 grand is what I paid. And I can honestly say the information was helpful, some of it was crap, but it definitely helped me out, okay? However, when I went to the courses, or when I went to the REI clubs, I got scared just like you did. I got confused just like you did. I had millions of other questions just like you did, because the more I read, the more confused I got, because my mind allowed me to think about something in the future. What's going to happen if the seller says this? How do I fill out the contract? You know, do I have an attorney? Do I have a title company? Are they going to do a double closing? Can they do a single closing? Can they do a dry closing? Can they do a wet closing? So on and so on. I don't know how to give a estimate and etc. So what I learned is at the very end of the learning process that all these people were basically telling me how ugly I was and how much I didn't know, and pumping a bunch of fear into me, which made me want to learn more and more and more and more and more, which you know, spend a lot of money, but I wasn't taking as much action because it took me a while after I started learning to take action, okay? Because I was scared, I didn't know what to do, there was no one to hold my hand, etc. But after being in the business for quite a while, I took a very complex process and I just simplified it into 3 ideas, okay? If you want to have success in real estate business, you need to have these 3 ideas, which I call the 3 propellers of real estate investing for success. Now the 3 propellers are like this. Number 1 is called lead generation. Number 2 is called conversion. And number 3 is called exit strategy, okay? Now, lead generation, you know, is pretty is where you're doing the marketing, you know, you're doing advertisement, you're getting people to call you. The conversion part is where you are at the phase where you're taking the calls, you're screening it out, the motivated sellers, you're learning how to put it under contract, you're learning how to take it to the title company, and your exit strategy is like, who are you going to sell it to? Does that make sense? Are you going to buy and hold? Are you going to fix and flip? Are you going to wholesale it? So those are the 3 propellers, okay? And the reason I made it so simple is so you can go do deals and you don't have to go learn so much. Because one thing I learned when I was learning all this stuff, just like you, is that the more I learned, the more fear I got. And the more fear I got, the less action I took. So let me repeat that one more time, guys. It's very crucial. The more I learned, the more my powerful brain came up with solutions or scenarios or situations. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this? What if this? What if this? What if? It was just a constant what if. And every time I had a what if, I would go buy a book and read it, and then I would have 2 more what ifs. And then I would go read more books, and I would have more 2 what ifs. And that's when I realized that, hey, these people are just trying to sell me shit, and I don't need to know all this stuff, okay? And that's why I made it so simple for my students, what I call it 3 propellers, okay? So the secret is that you got to understand, where are you in this propeller? Are you in lead generation? Are you in the conversion? Or are you in the exit strategy? Where are you stuck at? Are you at zero, which you haven't even started? You're just reading about this? And I bet most of you are just like me. You're at zero. You're reading all this stuff. Like, for example, you're reading about exit strategy. Like, you could sell it to the end buyer. You could wholesale it. You could fix and flip it. You could owner finance it. You could do all these cool things, right? Or you're probably like me. You're learning about the conversion. Like, for example, what to say to a seller, how to fill out the seller contract, what title company should you take to, what is a different type of strategy you can structure the deal, right? You're learning about all this crap, right? And so the more you learned about 3 and 2, the more confused I became, and I'm sure you became, which would cause fear, which then made you not take action. Same with me, not take action, same thing with my students. And to simplify it, okay, the very first thing you need to do, and just pay attention, this is why I make this video, guys. The very first thing you want to do if you want to be successful, do your first deal in 19 days, you have to have tunnel vision. Again, you got to just focus on step number 1, wherever you are. If you're at step 0, then the first thing you have to do, which probably most of you are, is to focus on step number 1, which is called lead generation. You don't have to learn how to do step number 2. You don't have to learn about step number 3. Sure, these guys would love to sell you a book or a seminar or training that teaches about that, and I'm sure you probably need it. But the problem is, if you learn about these 2 things, and you're not starting with step number 1, which is lead generation, you're just wasting your fucking time, you're wasting your energy, you're spinning your wheels, but you got no attraction because fear and doubt and lack of decision making, because you don't have any confidence because of all these lack and fears, you're just frozen, you know what I mean? And you think the more you learn, the more you're gonna earn. And that's a bunch of crap, dude. You gotta learn some shit, but you gotta take major action to implement what you learn. So the secret is that if you're at step number 0, the very first thing you have to do is learn lead generation, guys. And notice that I just don't say marketing, because lead generation is so many different things besides marketing, okay? Lead generation is learning like email follow-up funnels, landing pages, copywriting, okay? Learning the trigger points of how people make sales. So there's a lot of different stuff in there, so it's just not marketing, okay, guys? It's the ability to use marketing assets and go out there and get people to call you, okay? Now, the problem is that when I started going to the REI clubs and real estate investing, they give me the formula for failure. And the formula of failure is what happens in any business, okay? Let's say, you know, when I got out of college, I wanted to start my business. People told me, hey man, what you need to do is you need to come with a business plan. You need to come with a marketing plan. You need to get funds if that's borrowed from your friends and family, if that's put it on your credit card, if that's going to get a loan from a bank like Wells Fargo, you know, whatever, okay? And then 2, you got to get the overhead. You got to get the, you know, the fitness equipment, and you got to get the, you know, the signs and the chairs and the desk and the computers and the phone lines and all this infrastructure, okay? And then number 3, once you have that, then you open your door and voila, you start doing marketing and people will show up, you know. And that's totally false, because if I do step number 1, which is get into debt, and then number 2, spend that debt money into infrastructure, when I get to step number 3, I don't have any more money. I have all this responsibility on my shoulder. I got all these bills to pay, and I'm not gonna have any fucking luck, you know, marketing, because I didn't put any time and energy doing that. I did the number 1, number 2. So my alchemy formula to turn nothing into gold is to do the opposite, the inverse of the traditional way of people doing it, which is number 1, get the money, set up the business plan, etc. Number 2, set up the infrastructure, buy the signs, buy the crap, and number 3, do the marketing and open your door. What I say is do number 3 first. Let me stop and explain it to you. When I first went to the REI clubs, they talked about, man, set up your LLC, man, you gotta learn how to fill out a contract, man, you gotta know these types of strategies, man, you gotta know what title company, man, you gotta have your logo, you gotta have your business card, you gotta have this, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta have this. And all those things are any fool can do. All those things are just spend money, spend money, spend money. Like I said, go the traditional path. You know, get the money, set up the infrastructure, and then open your doors. And what that does is it made me spend a lot of money and time, just like you. I bought infrastructure, I bought books, I bought, 800 number, I bought a website, I bought this, I bought that, okay? This is very easy, and I didn't make any business. So the business is not into buying shit. The business is not into borrowing money or raising capital. Those are not businesses, dude. Those are any fool can do. Any fool can go sign up and get in debt. Any fool can go buy a computer, a desk, or get a lease for an office, or any fool can do that. But see, it takes a true warrior, a true entrepreneur to do the third part, which is open the door and start marketing, dude. And marketing is the most important part in any business, and that's why I call it my alchemy formula of as coming to America as a refugee. Parents didn't speak the language, they didn't know left from right, they don't, they can't even read, they don't even have high school education. With me having all these lacks and disabilities, never borrowed any money from a bank or a credit card. And the way I did it is through my alchemy formula, which is I realized that the best way to fund for a business is to use free and then house money. And the way to do that is to use my alchemy formula, what I just explained to you guys, is number one, you work on the marketing, the lead generation. Now that I explained the alchemy formula, let's go back to my 3 propellers, guys, because that's just so important. That's why I'm explaining this to you. There's 3 propellers. Remember, lead generation. You have conversion, exit strategy. And if you want to do a deal in 19 days, you don't have to worry about the number 3 or number 2, guys. That's just going to cause confusion. That's going to cause a lot of stale time and not taking action. The very first thing you got to do is marketing, guys, lead generation, okay? Now, I explained the propeller, and then I explained to you the alchemy formula. So you don't need to be setting up corporations and logos and spending money in infrastructure. You got to do the marketing, okay, which is number 3. And that's the very first propeller of your success, which is the marketing, guys. All right? Very first thing. Now, let me now pull the curtains back and show you the secret ways to market to find a motivated seller and do your first deal, guys. Excuse me. 1 second. My throat's a little dry. Excuse me, lucky boy. Thank you, baby. All right, guys. There's basically 2 ways to do marketing, guys. So in the first propeller, which is the lead generation, there's 2 ways to do marketing. There's only 2 ways. There's no other way, okay? And there's a hybrid, which makes it 3, but it's basically 2 ways. You can do free marketing, okay? Or you could do paid marketing. And that's it. That's the only way to do it, okay? Now, the problem is, many of you guys say, well, hey, I want to do the free marketing, okay? Which is great. I encourage you to do that because it flexes your brain muscles, all right? Your creativity, your imagination, okay? But with the free marketing, this is a big but, you got to have a lot of fucking time, dude, to invest into it. Like, if you got a fucking 10 kids and you got two jobs, then you probably don't have any time to do fucking free marketing. So if you put that into your basket of marketing plan, you're not going to have any success with it. Zero zitch. Because you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being realistic with it, okay? If you want to do free marketing, you got to put that sweat equity in. You. Not me, not Jose, not Mary, you. No one's going to do it for you. You're the only person that has to do it. And why is it so important to get your deal in 19 days? Because that's step number 1, lead generation. And so if you want to do lead generation, you got to do marketing. And there's 2 ways to do marketing. Free marketing or paid marketing. And if you want to do free marketing, you got to be able to put a lot of fucking time into it. But here's the great thing, ladies and gentlemen. The grass is so green in America, dude. You could be a refugee like me, go from 0 to whatever you want to be, your dreams to be. And you can do it. What I'm telling you is, if you want to lose that weight, you got to get on that fucking cardio and you got to put in the time. It just ain't going to happen. Same thing with free marketing. It just ain't going to happen, guys, okay? Now, let me show you this one idea which people say, okay, that time is money. And I think it's kind of true, but it's not. It's kind of misleading. That's why a lot of people are not making money unless you're looking at a job. If you're looking at a job, then maybe. So they say time is money, guys, okay? So if you want to do free marketing, okay, which means like you're going to use the least amount of money or zero, then you got to use a lot of fucking time. I mean, this is just it. This is because this is equals this. That's simple it is. And for the ladies and gentlemen that have, you know, a lot of money, they're not going to have a lot of time generally, okay, because they're very successful. They have multiple businesses. They'll have businesses, so they're always working. I said generally. The very smart of the smart, they create systems and automation so they don't have to work, okay? But in generally, somebody that has money, okay, they have money for marketing, they're not going to have the time, okay? But if you have the fucking time, if you have a lot of time in your hand, you're a student or you're unemployed, then guess what? You probably don't have a lot of money, okay? So I hope you guys understand that this is very, very crucial, because this is the realistic way of looking at things and saying, hey, where the fuck am I on here, dude? Okay? Because I'm telling you, there's two ways to make this lead generation work. You got free marketing and you got paid marketing. So if you don't have any time, okay, if you don't got the time here, so your time is low, then you got to be able to put the money up. It's simple, okay? And if you don't have the money, then you got to put, if you got zero money, then you got to put the time up. Now, hear me good and hear me fucking good, okay? I'm going to tell you the fucking truth. There's no fucking way to not put any money up and not put any time up. It's not going to work, because if you put a zero here, this is going to be zero, dude. This isn't the story. Same thing here. So if you put zero in one of these, or if you don't got no time to put in because you got 50 kids and you work all the time and you got 5 jobs and you're going to every soccer game and every football game and you watch every fucking episode, then no. You got no money and you got no fucking time, then get on government cheese, because this is not going to work for you, dude. It's not. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry to be the one telling you that. But you live in America, the grass is so green. If you got no fucking money, I got the formula I'm going to show you right now, the mathematical formula of taking your time, turning into money with my alchemist formula in a minute. But if you got no money, so you got zero money. Let me draw it again. You got no money, okay? Money equals time. You got no money, no problem. You got to put the time in, dude. It's just very, very simple. And the guys that are like attorneys, doctors, or they have businesses, they probably don't have the time. They're having another company or another thing that's making them money, right? So they're going to put the fucking money up for marketing. That's the only way to deal with this business. There's only the very first way to do this business, which is propeller number 1, is called lead generation. If you don't do fucking lead generation, you'll never get to propeller number 2 or propeller number 3, because who gives a fuck if you know how to fill out the contract? Who gives a fuck if you know the attorney? Number 3 and number 2 does not matter to you. Start number 1, which is lead generation. And to do lead generation, there's only 2 fucking ways to do it, or there's a hybrid of the 2, is paid or fucking free. With free, you got to put a lot of fucking time in, dude. With paid, you don't. You use marketing systems, okay? Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about what is marketing, guys, okay? Marketing is a system where you put money into it, okay? And this is called marketing, all right? And then you get a return out of it. So maybe you put $100 and you make $500. So this is a marketing. When you have multiple of these systems, that's called a marketing plan. Okay? Some of them you might have to put 2 in and you get 3, and some of them you have to put 1 in and you get 6. So if you're putting, for example, 5 in and you get 3, then you lost. And that's what happens with many investors. They put marketing or small businesses and they don't get a return, so they think marketing sucks. So if you put 3 in and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, that was okay. You put 3 and you got 1 back. That's not the best. The best thing is to put 1 in and get 5 out. Put 1 in and get 4 out. Put 1 to get 6 out. Put 1 to get to infinity. The more you're able to put this 1 or less to 1, you can make money. But now you said, hey Mike, you said marketing is free. This ain't free. You're talking about this fucking money right here, man. You're lying to me. Man, you're a smart person, dude. Good job, dude. Okay, I like the way you think. Now I'm gonna show you what we talked about earlier. We talked about that the general public says time equals money, okay? And that's kind of true, but it's not 100% true. That's why everybody's not making money. And I'm going to show you exactly how to take this and put it into this marketing channel, okay? So, 1 second, guys. So, the common saying is money equals time. And notice that this T is a big T. This is not the T that you have on your clock, guys. That's not the same T, okay? I'm going to show to you how to get this big T. So big T, okay, equals, all right, the little t. Now, little t is the time that me and you know, like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, okay? Now, little t plus E, so E is experience. So, little t plus experience, so, you know, you put the time in, you put 10 years in, you put 3 years in, you do cold calling, whatever you do, your bodybuilding, your whatever it is, you get better as you put more time in with experience, okay? Now, 2 things here, guys. Some people put their time plus experience and it's just plus, okay? Some people put their time with experience, but it's not plus, it's a multiplication, guys, okay? They multiply. So now that depends on, you know, your brain power and your creativity. You know, this has nothing to do with money or how much money you could borrow or nothing like that, dude, okay? It has to deal with your drive, your motivation, you know, fucking the idea, how hungry you are, things like that. But either way, I'm showing you right now the alchemy mathematical formula to make fucking money with no money, okay? This is it. So they say money equals time. This is not correct 100%. Money equals big T. Now, big T equals little t, which is the time in our hand, plus E, experience. When you add little t plus experience, then you get the big T, guys, okay? Now, wait 1 second right here. Now, earlier I said marketing is money you put into a marketing system, and then you get a return, okay? Now, once you do the conversion from money equaling big T, you don't have big T. If you don't have no money and you have a lot of time, let's say you're unemployed or you're trying to do this full time, then you got time, you got a lot of this. You don't have big T yet, so you can't convert your big T for some money. Nobody's gonna give it to you. That's why you don't got no money, right? You got the time. So what you gotta do is, to get the big T, you got the time, you gotta have to put the experience in. For example, you're watching my videos, okay? That's experience. You go out there, you take action, you do cold calling, you do door knocking, you know, those are experiences, guys. Once you put the time with the experience, then you get the big T. Then when you have the big T, then you could trade the big T, because big T equals time, which equals money, okay, in the marketing, okay? Let me give you a good example of how I just said that, guys, okay? I told you earlier that I like to use house money and free marketing. For the past 3 years, I've been speaking for free. I've been helping people out. I've been helping them make big checks, and I've just been sitting back, watching it, and just feeling good, and, you know, helping me go through the struggles that I had to go through, okay, while feeling good, all right? And a matter of fucking, so I was just doing like here, I was a little T, and I was putting the experience in. I was working for free 3 years. This part took me about 3+ years, okay? I did it for free, and I put the time in, dude. I made the videos. I paid out of my own pocket, dude, for somebody to chop them up, somebody to do the translations, the hosting, guys, whatever. There's so much more. I don't want to even get into it, dude, okay? Because it cost me a lot of money. So I put that in there, right? And since I don't want to use my money to do marketing, and that's what I teach my students, I use my imagination, you know, I use this formula. I took my time, put this into it, boom. I got the big T. I knew how to coach people now. I knew how to create systems, you know, how to take my personal systems and actually deliver it to people, right? And then what I did is I just traded the big T for fucking money, dude, all right? And how did I do that? I set up my website. People bought coaching from me. People bought products from me. Boom, 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 boom. In a matter of like, I went from being homeless, not having no website, nothing, dude. Just got away from everything, dude. Just decided to go fucking do what the greats do, like Jesus the Buddha, and live with the fucking poor, not shower, just give all my clothes away to homeless people, just not having shit, you know what I mean? And just feeling the other part of life, dude. Get out of my fucking comfort zone and feeling what it is to have nothing, dude, and just figuring out what my why is, right? And that's why it's so important for you to have a why, ladies and gentlemen. But once I decided that I'm gonna go and do something, I already had the T and the E experience. I turned to the big T, boom, people start paying me instantly, bought my product, and boom, I put it into a marketing system. For example, Facebook, etc., etc., etc. And I'm gonna create multiple marketing channels, which then becomes a marketing plan, okay? That's why it's really not important to sit out there and do what the traditional people say, which is build your capital, come up with a business plan, and then go get your infrastructure, and then open your doors and do the marketing. If you do that, you're going to be in debt. You're probably your ability of being successful is very small. For example, you go to REI Clubs and say, oh, set up your LLC, set up this. You haven't even fucking done a deal, dude. Before you know, you're paying an accountant $1,000. Then every year you got to pay for it. You got to pay the filing fees, and then you got to set up logos, and you got to set up this, you got to set up, and bam, dude. See, you're going to spend all this fucking money, and you probably ain't going to do a deal, and you're going to get out of the business because your overhead now, you got this much to pay every month, you got $100 to pay for this software, you got $50 for this, $20 for that, this, and then there's no money for marketing, and you're thinking, man, this shit doesn't work, dude. This shit, no, motherfucker, this shit works. You listen to those fucking fools that trying to sell you something. You got to understand that they created a system, but their thing is to pump fear into you, just like TV, just like marketing, just like pharmaceutical companies. Do you have a problem? You're too ugly. You're too fat. You're too short. You're too skinny. You know what I'm saying? I got a magic pill, dude. This is your solution. So you got to be smarter than that, ladies and gentlemen. So their systems are good, but you got to realize that, hey, if you follow the exact system and hundreds of people are doing it, you're probably not going to make it. Just like I said in my last video. If your ass says we buy houses, you might as well say, hey, I can wipe my own ass, dude, because you're not going to have success, ladies and gentlemen. So coming back to the story of doing, your first deal with no money, no credit, no nothing, okay, no experience, is to do propeller number 1, and that's it. We just focus on lead generation. Don't worry about filling out contracts. Don't worry about how to talk to a seller. You don't have to worry about any of that. Your only fucking job is to do marketing, have people call you. If people ain't calling you, don't worry about what you're going to say on the fucking phone, okay? Now, the problem is when we learn, we have fear. When we learn, our brain is so smart, it comes up with all these clever situations. What if this happens? What if they sell us this? What is 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 this? And all we're doing is just thinking, and we ain't doing a goddamn thing, dude. We ain't doing shit, right? So you can't do it like that, okay? Buddha says that if you're thinking forward, you're gonna have fear, right? And if you're thinking back, you probably have fucking depression. So to not have any of that, you gotta focus on right now, dude, the right now. And your right now is, if you're at level 0 and there's 3 propellers, your only next level is number 1, dude. Number 1, which is lead generation, dude. And if nobody's calling you and you're doing lead generation, no problem. That's normal, dude. You just started. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? That's okay. But don't worry about processes and steps number 2, or in propeller number 2, or propeller number 3. You're wasting your fucking time and energy, dude. Don't buy shit for that. Don't spend any books, time, energy, learning any of those stuff. Your very first thing is you want to do lead generation. You want to do marketing. You want to learn how to set up systems like landing pages, things that are going to fucking get you a conversion, like a lead come in. They're going to call you. They're going to text you. They're going to email you. They're going to fax you. Something, dude. You're gonna generate leads. Once that person or the lead comes in, not just one, ladies and gentlemen, once like you have 4 or 5, 10, okay? And the very first thing you need, you're gonna pick up, hey, how you doing? That's it, dude, right? You don't know what the fuck to say, that's okay. You're not in the level 2. Once you have 5, 10 people call you, then you start learning propeller number 2, ladies and gentlemen, where you're learning to use my seller phone script to filter out these customers. You're putting these sellers into sales funnels like my auto follow-up series. You're now buying the how to give an offer and brand yourself compared to other people. So now you're going to have to learn different tricks, different systems, different fears you got to tackle, okay? So if you're at 0, your phone ain't ringing, your leads are not coming in, your website's not, generating leads, and you're watching some other guy talk about, some cool strategy to make money, then guess what, dude? You're just fucking yourself, man. You're never gonna have any success. You're making that other guy rich, okay? If you're just thinking about, let me go to the next seminar, let me go to the next REI club, they're talking about X, they're talking about Y, and your phone ain't ringing, and you're not advertising, you're wasting your fucking time because you're never gonna go do a deal like that. So to not have fear, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta focus on the now. And if you're at step number 1, your next thing is lead generation. And if you want to have success, and if you want to do a deal in 19 days or less, and if you want to do a deal without having your own money, without having experience, the only thing you got to do is just learn how to generate fucking leads like crazy. If you generate leads like crazy, you can take that thing and pass it to what I call a seasoned investor, and he or she may help you, dude. And you may eat, you may not fucking eat. It's okay, dude. For me to go to college, dude, to go to some stupid ass college that my parents wanted me to go when I didn't want to go, when I knew it was a waste of time. I had to spend 30 fucking grand, ladies and gentlemen, $30,000, 6 years of my fucking life. Listen to some stupid ass fucking professor that talks about how great you got to spell and type. Where, dude, I can't spell, I can't type. I ran it. I created a book, put it on Amazon the first 2 days. I was just boom, 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 selling this shit, dude. I can't even spell it right, dude. So, if you listen to everybody else, you're not going to make money. I spent $30,000 going to college, spent 6 years. I spent $30,000 in real estate. I made more money in real estate. I use everything that I learned these things, where the other stuff is just a bulletin board. Nobody ever asked me if I have a college degree, or, if I ever went to a bank and I want to borrow money, they're not going to ask me if I have a fucking college degree. I never try to borrow that shit, but they're not going to ask for that, dude. Okay? So if you want to do a deal, the very first thing, if you have no money, no experience, no credit, or you don't want to use any of that, you want to play very safe, is to learn how to be a lead generator. Okay? As I explained to you guys before, my alchemy formula, turning nothing into something, is very important to be a master lead generator. You want to get in the moving business, you don't know shit, learn lead generation, pass the ball to other companies or service providers. Someone will fuck you. I got fucked. There was a guy in Fort Worth, I gave him tons of fucking leads. Subject to, he closed the deal, motherfucker didn't cheat me one fucking thing. But guess what, dude? I took that fucking slap in the face, I smiled, I said, thank you, God, for teaching me some shit not to deal with motherfuckers like this. I took my fucking face, and I came up with these 3 propellers, and I realized the very first thing I do is, I got the fucking leads now. Now I gotta focus on number 2, which is conversion. And so if you're not at the level 1, don't worry about level 2 and level 3. But if you take these leads and you give it to somebody and they fuck you, it might be that motivation you need, or it might be that light that goes in your head that shows you how to pivot to solve that problem. And if they don't fuck you, hallelujah, then you're gonna learn for free if they're a greedy investor. Oh well, dude, because listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're better off learning for free and then learning how to do it down the line and making a lot of fucking money than getting paid today. Getting paid today is a job. It's a slave mentality mindset. I work for free and I control my own destiny. If you work for fucking a paycheck, if you're always like, pay me before I do something, when you haven't done the fucking free work, you haven't built your profile, then, you're gonna always be like, please pay me. You're at the mercy of the money, ladies and gentlemen. So when you generate leads, you're a lead generation master. You could take these leads, give it to somebody. They may fuck you. If they fuck you, it may help you push you forward. They may be greedy people, which means you're only gonna learn. They're not gonna give you no fucking money. And they might be generous people, dude. They might say, you know what? Thanks for bringing me this fucking deal, dude. I just made 10. Here's 2. Here's 1,000. Here's 5,000. Who knows, dude? Who knows, right? But I tell you what, if we don't generate any fucking leads and you do what all these gurus say, which is do all this stuff, set up your LLC, set up your fucking this, do this, learn that, learn this, learn that, learn this strategy, learn this, you're never gonna fucking do deals. You're gonna spend a lot of fucking time. You're gonna spend a lot of fucking money. You're gonna just be spinning your fucking wheels, and then you're gonna say, oh, this business doesn't work. No, this business works. The very first thing for this business, before anything else, is lead generation. And if you're not generating leads, you're not gonna be successful. I don't give a fuck how much you know how to structure deals. I don't give a fuck if you know how to fill out the contract. I don't give a fuck if you have the best attorney. I don't give a fuck if you know what to do. You know, none of that stuff matters. You don't got no fucking leads, you're not in business, dude. Okay? So generate leads, and then if you want to do a deal in 19 days without using your money, without using your credit, without having experience, generate leads, take the shit, give it to somebody else, and you're going to learn so much more than you knew now. And then the great thing is, you could have not spent any money, because if you had no money and you had a lot of time, like I explained earlier, then you just put sweat equity in, and you got the big T, and then you transfer the big T for some cash into your pocket very soon, or maybe on that deal. Okay, if you do anything else, I'm very confident that your ability of success is going to shrink, dude. If you want the odds, of alchemy, then you got to do nothing into something, dude. The more you put up, the more confusion you're going to have, the more fear you're going to have, which now is going to not allow you to take any fucking action, because you're like one of those sheeps when they see a predator. All right, guys, go out there and hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer, and see you later, gang.